Greetings, defenders of the Witch's Orphanage. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld: The Boundless Witch. Episode 44. A little light snuffed out too soon. Okay, I'm pleased with these presented options. If I've overlooked something, I can add them later. But there you go. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to vote on that. So robotics would be getting potentially like Militors, Agrahans, Hullerbots, things like that. Ghoul preparation would be trying to get like an external freezer for corpses and meat that the ghoul has access to, because we're going to want the ghouls near the entryway to the colony and not like deep in the mountain. And then also ghoul preparation would mean getting entity containment facilities that can handle advanced entities, because a lot of the good ghoul tech is in advanced research. Colony defense would be a ritual room and improved perimeter defenses and like weapons and the like. Moving into the mountain would be moving the hospital, potentially the research room, basically all of this stuff into the mountain, closing this down and relocating it over here. Improved agriculture and map cleaning would be removing the pollution that is within our ranch so that we could potentially accommodate critters that don't have natural toxic immunity. And then, treating any of these additional old tree zones as farming sites, or trying to figure out farming sites. Colony mood and drugs would be, so for mood, maybe more dedicated recreation time or better bedrooms. Right now everyone has a bedroom, but like better bedrooms. Our rec room's pretty good, but just focusing on trying to keep the mood and that up. And then also the drugs part would be to try to start cultivating psychite and hops, in case of mood emergencies. And then bionics is pretty straightforward. We have need of a lot of bionics, so starting to focus on that would be part of the priority. Witch is cleaning up some like old construction projects. I'm gonna leave her alone doing it. Porter, a bartender, not affiliated with a faction. 78 years old. Well, you missed the age cutoff by, I guess as a jogger, you could be like a ghoul, but I'm not ready for ghoul stuff yet. Especially not with a bad back. Scorpio, what is going on? Go do wash. I might as well keep the back wall double walled as well for bullet security. It's not a bad idea. How's the alpaca doing right now? I could have the... You know what? Let's move the alpaca's beds over here so that they, like, at least sleep not in toxins. But I'm sure they're not doing great. 20%. Actually, this alpaca 3 has been staying away from the nasty. Where's the other one? Oh, there it is. They've been keeping inside of pollution-free zones pretty well. So the alpacas are actually doing all right. We don't have a ranch for them, so it's, it'd be like a museum, not a museum. It'd be like a zoo having like penguins, but no enclosure for penguins. That's a bad example, but like a temperature inappropriate enclosures, and it's like, yeah, it's better just get rid of the animals because we really don't have a means to keep them in a meaningful, safe way. At least that's how I feel. All right. Something else that has been outlying for a long time, and I've just been really, really busy until now, is getting the cochlear implant for Moro. That would be a really easy, quick fix. So I'm going to work at the machining table until we have that. Seems to me like with the poll resolved, improved agriculture and map cleaning is where it's at. So, improved map cleaning. I'm going to remove pollution over every square in the interior so that we do not have pollution within our closest walls. That's a big task, but ultimately I think it's probably worth doing. And then for agriculture, we have identified that the irrigation sprinklers radii and the grow light matching is ideal. So maybe what we'll want is probably to build here. It's hard to analyze because of the soil fertility isn't very clear. But let me look to see if there's like, because there's fertile soil here, rich soil here, but like we can't grow here. This is where our kill box is. So this is fertile soil here, which we could grow. There's some rich soil there. Ultimately, there's just not a lot of rich soil that we could take advantage of. And sometimes there's like rich soil underneath these petrified trees, but I can't know until I excavate. So it's a lot of labor to open up those areas without knowing if there's good soil underneath. So I think another alternative, of course, is for us to invest in hydroponics, but that's very power intensive. It's not an unreasonable thing to do, considering that we have another geothermal steam geyser opportunity here, and I do have the means to create components from steel. So that's another possibility, but I think what I'm going to do is start preparing this zone. Actually, I have a better idea. So let's do this. Because I really liked how this farm turned out. And if we want, like, food to make sure that we have lots of sustenance, I could just mine this section out like that. And then, I'm going to make this out of limestone, actually. Create a wall access so that it's, like, sort of within the boundaries of our colony. And then the last thing I can do is to stick, like, some sort of door here so we can close it. So in the case of manhunted animals, I can close this door, blocking out the manhunted animals, and still have access to the farm. It's not perfect, but I like it. I think it will work. Alright, cochlear plant is coming off the line. Sweet. Maybe don't leave fecal sludge on the floor of our lab. Talk about research penalty. That's pretty funny. keep forgetting we have so many like nudists that want to disrobe. All right, Moro. You are about to have sleep needs, so let's just do this. Witch operate. And Moro's body mod frustrated will swing from -4 to like +2. So should help a wee bit. Or +4. So swing of 8 for 1 cochlear implant. Definitely worth it. So I'm going to update the priorities now. Focus on improved agriculture and ranching. Now, there's an argument to be made that, like, having the ranched animals not be part of the entryway path of our colony is going to be ultimately a smart move, and I would agree with that. So if I would like to at some point improve ranching. One really easy way to do it is to mine through this mountain here. This is like grand plans. Mine through this mountain here. I can't actually put plans there. And then wall this section off so that this whole area here becomes a toxic ranch. A ranch capable of housing toxic animals. Animals that aren't going to die from toxins. And then just like sticking a door here to it. And then they can roam free here. There's lots to graze. It's not really an issue. And then this whole section of the map is walled off because anyone coming into the map edge here can just raid us coming around this mountain. And then separately, having a like clean ranch, maybe around here possibly. Especially if I move the corpses and whatnot. Having a clean ranch around here where it's pollution free for animals that can't handle pollution. Now the issue of course is there isn't going to be much to graze even in the clean ranch because soil fertility is pretty low. So even if we remove the pollution, as you can see the soil has pretty low fertility and doesn't have a lot of stuff that you can graze on. So it's always going to be a bit of an issue, but like that's a thought. That's something we could do for sure. But that's too big of a project for what we're working on right now. If I clear the tree directly above the farm, isn't the space exactly right? You mean this one? No. Unless I wall it up separately, which I could do. But the size of the grow light is that, so I'd have to create a wall around it. I kind of like the natural walls, only because these natural walls, these petroed walls, are like super tough. So I could do it there. Then the other problem is, like, I would need to... Yeah, I could have the entryway to the kill box be, like, here or something. If I dug through the mountain around the map edge, it could be infested in 2 spots. It doesn't look like overhead mountain here. It could be wrong, but it's possible that there is an overhead mountain around the edge. And if there is, I could try to find a clear path, or alternatively door it up and freeze it so it's still not a valid spot. Oh, breachers. A lot of breachers. I think this is a trooper squad fight. Yep, they are a bunch of kid breachers. Oh, God, they all kids? Oh, God. Hey, witch, hurry up. I don't know why I keep getting hit by child raids. They're gonna plow through my walls. I might not even need to... Here, actually... You guys come back. They're gonna breach the entity containment, aren't they? Something stupid like that. Now, trying to out-repair breachers is, like, pretty much impossible. But I did call a trooper squad that will intercept a lot of the children. They're gonna vomit fire at me. Yeah, that's not cool. Oh! Okay. Sky got one shot by vomiting fire. I knew it was going to hurt, but I did not think it was going to be an instant kill. That seems stupid that a child could puke fire that hard. And we have a hole in our ranch, so all of my animals are just going to go wild. Which is another level of stupid. But, you know, it is what it is. We don't have a base that's particularly effective against breach because of how long and winding the path is. It is just a known and natural vulnerability until we fully move into the mountain where, like, the only real breach spot is, like, through a massive mountain. Like, that's really the only way to truly do it. So I don't really know what these impids are doing. Sky's body, I'm gonna try to keep from setting on fire. Alright, they're fleeing. Sickly chem interest, fast learner kind. What body parts are you missing? None. Careful shooter. These alpaca don't really understand that fire is ouch. Impids, if you're wondering, never try, like, they're unjoinable. But I will try to tend the best prospect for a joiner here. What a lovely way to die. Yeah, sorry, Sky. I didn't see that coming, and I wasn't expecting it. I knew that children were vulnerable, but I didn't think that the breathe fire ability did that kind of damage, because it generally doesn't. That was like a D20 crit, I think. The other thing that I'm looking at is if any of the Empire troops are rescuable, because I can kind of double dip for rep, but that doesn't seem to be possible. Fangface, I would like you to rebuild that wall, because we have a lot of animals that are, like, on the wrong side of everywhere until that wall gets built. Where's the one that was standing? You? Okay. The problem is if I turn this into a prison, I'm gonna have to do it over here for now. If I turn that over to a prison, then Witch doesn't have a bedroom and it becomes a morale problem. Thanks, Sky, for the resub. Such is life on the rim? Yeah. Well, in your case, given that you're frozen, what I could do as well is intern you, and this wasn't something I was able to do for the others just because I was completely overwhelmed with the amount of, like, loss that we were facing at the moment. But intern you into the freezer so that if we do have the opportunity to get Resmec Serum, that you could be the lucky recipient of such a treatment. So I will attempt that. And what I will do is I'll set the sarcophagus up to be tamper-proof, meaning no pathing with vents. Otherwise, corpse obsessions will eventually rot you over time. Now, it doesn't necessarily protect you from solar flares. That's not something I could do, but I'll do what I can. Alright, Puncheria. You're gonna live. Animals. Undrafted. Pet hauling should still help to move the corpses. They keep stepping right where I'm working, though. Okay, now that it's enclosed, we can start roping the animals that escape containment. I'm gonna have Witch do a the sarcophagus build. There's likely to be a lot of mood issues as a result of having to defend ourselves from a bunch of children. Where? Oh. We have to go into the death pile to fetch Sky out. Gross. Why did time slow down? You got back up or something? I'm assuming. Okay, Sky Collective is now interned, and there is a interment for it. Doesn't that zone exclude colonists? Yes. This one? It's already fixed. Cheers, by the way. And then you are going to be converted from the creed of dominance to our ideology. Routine archer. Who knows? Maybe they'll join. Maybe they won't. Let's flick on our chem-gen. I already turned off the smelter to try to help, but we'll flick off on the chem-gen to help out. Everyone seems awake. So before we really start the day, let's trigger the interment. Come on, Fang. There we go. All present. It was heartwarming, and that should help. That should help. Let's go ahead and get the vents on, so that the corpse can't be obsessed, and vents so that it stays frozen. So there's a possibility of redemption there now. I don't think any of the current animals are wandering away. I think we're good. We enclosed them all. That was nasty. It's nasty to have someone get like a one-shot like that. I mean, there was nothing I could have done apart from not have them drafted, and, you know, the second they came through the door, I realized what was going to happen. I'm actually kind of surprised. So some genes for biotech only activate when you're 13, and I get like impids have like a inborn ability to do that, but I'm actually kind of low-key surprised that it isn't something that gets activated at like 13. You know, kind of like drug addictions or whatever. I thought I had visitors that wanted to trade. Nope, just a visitor. Okie dokie. Robs, thank you for the resub. So Fangface has been so busy trying to do like lessons and the like that progress for the mining project is like at a complete standstill. Question for you guys. Do you want me to build here or here? This is a Roman numeral 2 if you could, hey, let me fix it, because I don't want to have to explain. So for the farm, do you want it? I could even do a 3 here. So 1 was where I had originally planned, 2 is here, and 3 is there. These 2 and 3 will require walls, potentially double walls for added protection. And then there might be some terrain affordance issues. Yeah, there will be some terrain affordance issues for at least 3. But not bad ones. I mean, just a few bridges. It's not a big deal. Have you guys decide. Mech danger. Hi, Stellark. Making a request. A mech swarm is attacking settlements. They want to drop me a mech cluster. It'll have a Minotaur, 2 Minotaurs, 2 Pikemen, 2 Scorchers, 2 Scythers, a Tesseron, a Countdown Activator, an Unstable Power Cell, nodes, auto turret, and mech drop beacon. I don't know what the beacon is. 3 troopers will be placed under my control, and it will be initially dormant, may have a Countdown Activator. Yeah, I'll have you vote on this next. But it looks like I'm going to pause this mining project until the pull is resolved. And all of the child corpses have been moved. Okay. Comet supplier. Oh, nice. I think I'm going to replace where the cotton was, and I should have done this before I started sowing it all, with heel root again. Just to bolster our heel root up a bit. So it seems to me like option number 3 is going to be the popular one. The only issue I foresee here is the terrain affordance issue, trying to get out to there if I want actual walls for protection. So what we can do is we can, with the limestone, start lining it up. Well, actually, even before I do that, I might want to excavate it all to make sure that it is indeed soil underneath, because if it's like not, then there's no point. So we'll start there and pause all of the limestone walls, and then if it is soil and fertile and whatever, then we can start investing further in it. And I would like to have a path to it as straight as possible, but that does mean we're gonna probably want to move the site stealer because it's in the way. That's all the trade. If you're wondering why I'm not building meds, it's because I'm saving up for something big. Ooh, ancient mercenaries. Do we accept the mech cluster quest? My only other worry is, like, I don't know where there's not a lot of space for mech clusters to land, given all the, like, petrified trees around. So I'm really curious as to where it actually even figures out where it could land. Because that's, like, not a non-issue. There can be a bug with that. So, like, if I ever was given a large monument construction project, it might kind of lock up the game a while, because it's going to have to come up with a structure blueprint that can fit on this map. And it's, yeah, I can see that being a problem. I'm going to create a little, like, alternative holding platformy area here so that I can have a valid path out to the farm without having to go through heavy doors. And 2.5 minutes to vote on whether I take the cluster quest or not. Oh my god. Alright, we also have a prisoner quest. 5 prisoners, enemy faction, all paralyzed, 7 honor. A lot of honor stuff coming through the queue. Whether we labor to do it or not is up to you guys. There we go. We revised the kill box. It's going to be a little bit easier to shoot at things as a result. Assuming that the enemies actually come through a kill box and not somewhere else. So it looks like Mech Cluster Quest is a go. And I'm going to call that one a little early. What reward is going to be up to you. So reward number 1 is honor. Reward number 2 is a advanced psychic rituals book. And Jade. Reward number 3 is goodwill. Advanced psychic rituals is here. It leads to philophagy, brain wipe, blood rain, neurosis pulse. The thing is, I don't have an advanced entity to get any of the other advanced ritual stuff. So I'm not really sure it's all that useful until I have other advanced rituals, like, to be able to actually trigger this stuff. But still, I mean, you can vote for it regardless. And then once Fangface is done repairing a bunch of, like, the killboxy stuff, I'll put him back to high priority mining, and move the entity so that we can deal with the expanded farm. And the reason why I'm not using Vermeer is Vermeer, I don't want to pay for the mech energy yet. Maybe someday. Those duck eggs are going to be pet food, I think. Ooh, rain, that's good. Advanced fabrication is finally done. Okay, so we'll decide to take that quest on honor. Taking a look at our regular research tree. I'm going to think about this long and hard. So we got advanced fabrication. I think bionic replacements is maybe the most logical next thing to get. I don't see any other alternatives that are more reasonable. So we'll get bionics. So what is... Oh, she's smoothing walls. Okay, cool. The certainty of the Nimpid's not very strong at this point. We have definitely put a big old dent, which is great. So Witch looks to be trying to work on the throne room to make it more impressive, and then Fangface should... I'm gonna... Oh, you're hungry. I'm gonna have Fangface work on relocating that entity, so that we can connect the potential farm. Oh, shoot. Mad Fluffalo. Okay, animals into the ranch, and people behind the walls. One thing I haven't done in a while is update the behind the wall zone. It actually still looks fine, but I'm gonna close the door so that Fluffalo can't get in. Yeah, it doesn't have pathing anymore. Alright, come on, Fang. Oh, you should be mining over construction. There we go. Just a priority issue. So once it's all mined out, I already have another holding cell, holding platform to swap into there. And that will allow us to relocate the other site stealer so that we can open up this zone. There's also a big risk of any external walls shared with entities. And that risk is if a breacher comes in this direction, the site stealer is going to then consequently fight us as well as whatever hostile, you know, force. It's not ideal to have them connected to the outside like that. Something we can fix in time as well. Alright, so where's that Fluffalo? Is it already done? Oh, it must have been killed by the walkers. Or something. Wildlife. I don't see any wounded animals, so it's dead out here somewhere. Alright. Yep, there it is. Well, we could butcher it. We don't eat meat, but ghouls would. And our animals can go back to pet hauling. I might need to throw on high priority hauling because a lot of the farm's crops have not been hauled to the kitchen, and that's also going to be a problem because then Moro will stop cooking because I think the cooking zone is like pretty limited. So I'm going to leave the high priority hauling until we have the crops moved where it belongs. And then we'll go back to trying to tap another petrified tree zone for farming. Where did that... Oh, yeah, there it is. Living in the toxic forest ain't easy, that's for sure. Oh. Yeah, that's pretty cold. That's another thing is once we have once we get this zone set up we can enclose it in such a way that it won't run the same risk of crop loss due to cold that, you know, the other zones have. I really wish these trade partners would, like, not take the most roundabout way to come visit us. So here's the shaman merchant. I am going to sell the alpaca. I know they've been doing okay here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to gift the alpaca so as to not make money off of them. I think that's better. And then let's sell the pemmican. They don't have much that we want. So yeah, that's really the only other trade. But now the alpaca aren't our, you know, they're not our immediate concern. I had never intended to keep them, and I think giving them to a tribe feels right. They're going to be treated better than, like, an industrialized factory setting. Okay, we're almost done moving all the crops. It wasn't that we didn't have food, it was just we didn't have the hauling. So we're up to, like, almost about 1,000, which is great. I mean, way better than the 0 that we had last stream. And Says Thane has converted. So, Says Thane, you are going to be recruited. That was actually really quick. I think it's kindness. Global certainty loss factor is significantly impacted by kindness. But I was actually kind of surprised about how fast that went. Maybe we won't even need a bed for you after all. Although we will need another bedroom. So speaking about another bedroom, I'll have to do that. We have a 9-year-old child, Foxy, calling from nearby. He admits he profaned a peace ritual between Juanis and Clade, and they're both chasing him. I think I know what he said. He's a baseliner with the best skill at level 2 for shooting. Oh, okay. Looks like a real gem. Yeah, I was low-key thinking the same thing. Alright, current priorities is still that, but also help Foxy. Thank you for tuning in to The Boundless Witch, which originally streamed live on Twitch as a marathon. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, viewers like you that support the channel, and all the people that turned out to the marathon. I really appreciate it. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow orphans in the orphanage.